Not too long ago, I made a limp-bound leather journal just for the fun of it, and I really like this journal, and I want to protect it. It doesn't have a lot of structure to it. There's no book board involved, so the best way to protect any sort of book or stack of prints is with a clamshell box. This clamshell box I made for a very similar journal, almost identical to the one I just showed you. It has this smaller inner tray that protects the journal, and an outer tray that goes over the inner tray, all held together by a cover. I have another clamshell box here, similar size. Of course, I've made bigger and smaller. This one has a stack of prints inside. They're all related to each other. Clamshell boxes come in handy if you have a print exchange or a portfolio of prints or photographs or drawings. They're all the same size. I've also made a lot of clamshell boxes or variants on the clamshell box for pinhole cameras. This particular camera is a pinhole camera slipcase combination where the inner box traps a piece of film at the back of the outer box and also traps the light out and lets it in through a tiny pinhole. The outer tray functions as a lens cap, but also as a platform for horizontal photograph or vertical photograph, because as you know, pinhole photography takes time and the camera needs to sit still. How about we get started on making a clamshell box for my leather-bound journal? The grain always runs long on a clamshell box. Mark around the book, accounting for some breathing room. The first piece to cut is the inner tray bottom. Measure the tray walls from the offcut of the tray bottom. Stack the wall stock on the table and butt it up next to the tray bottom. There are 2 short tray walls and 1 long wall. They all measure the same height. The 2 short walls are the same length as the width of the tray bottom. The long wall is the same length as the long side of the tray, plus 2 board thicknesses. It doesn't really matter what grain direction you use on the tray walls. Apply glue to the inside bottom edge of a short wall and attach it to a short side of the tray. Make sure the corners line up and the bottom edge is flush with the bottom side of the tray. Apply glue to the long wall on the bottom inside edge and the inside end adjacent to the short wall. Attach the long wall to the tray, aligning the corner with the short wall and the bottom edge with the bottom side of the tray. Brush out any excess glue on the seam. Apply glue to the bottom inside edge of the final short wall. Apply glue to the edge that adjoins the long wall and attach the short wall to the tray and long wall, ensuring the corners line up and the bottom edge of the wall lines up with the bottom surface of the tray. Brush out any excess glue. Cut a 1/4 inch strip from a piece of scrap paper. Fold the first inch of the strip over. Slip the folded tab underneath the tray and wrap the strip over the tray wall, down the inside of the tray wall, and onto the tray floor. Mark a line on the strip where it overlaps the end of the first tab. Label the part of the strip on the tray floor with an I for inside and the part on the first tab with an O for outside. This strip measures the amount of book cloth that will wrap from the outside bottom of the tray over the wall, down the inside of the wall, and onto the inside of the tray bottom. Select a piece of book cloth that will measure the sum of the length of the tray plus twice the width plus 3 inches. Mark and measure the width of the cloth using the paper strip. Cut the book cloth along this line. Mark the fold line where the inside tray floor meets the inside wall, and the fold line where the outside wall forms a corner with the outside tray bottom. Label these inside and outside. Draw a line connecting those marks. Quickly sand the tray to remove any spurs resulting from cutting the bookboard. Apply glue to the left tray wall and attach it to the cloth, leaving a 1.5 inch tab sticking out. Align the bottom corner of the tray with the outside corner line on the book cloth. Press it down firmly. Apply glue to the long wall. Rotate the tray to stick the wall down, ensuring that the corner of the tray forms a sharp crease on the book cloth. Apply glue to the second short wall and rotate the tray to stick it down, ensuring the sharp crease in the corner, as well as the registration along the outside edge line. Follow the corner lines with a thumb and forefinger and pinch the cloth to extend the line above and below the tray on both corners. Cut the tabs a ruler's width away from the inside open edges of the tray. Cut the excess book cloth close to the corners on the tray bottoms. Use a sharp point to mark the intersections of the inside fold line and the corner extension line, then cut from the outside with scissors. Apply glue to the bottom flaps and turn them in. Use a bone folder to burnish the seams tight against the bookboard. Pinch the lines out on the tabbed book cloth. Insert the point of an X-Acto blade right to the corner of the sidewall and tray bottom, then cut out at a 45-degree angle across one board thickness along the book cloth before continuing the cut straight out. Flip the tray on its side and repeat the same cut on the side flap. Distance the X-Acto blade one board thickness away from the top corner of the sidewall and cut straight out. Then cut straight up from the same corner. Cut out along the fold line, and then start another cut 90 degrees from the same point as the first cut. Repeat the same pattern of cuts for the other side of the tray. With the tray on its back, insert the X-Acto blade at the corner where the two walls meet and cut out at a 45-degree angle across one board thickness, then straight out. Turn the tray and repeat the cut, originating from the same point. Be careful not to remove too much book cloth here, as it will expose the book board on the inside corner of the tray. Repeat this process for the other side. Dry fold the flaps to test bookboard concealment. Apply glue and paste down in the order shown on screen. Use the bone folder to burnish the book cloth into the corners. It's important to form the book cloth over the edges of the tray walls and down the sides in a manner such that there are no buckles, air bubbles, or uncreased corners. I find it helpful to pull and roll with fingers, then burnish and form with the bone folder. Once the cloth is wrapped on the tray, the final step is to line the tray bottom with a paper liner. The liner should follow the grain direction of the tray bottom, and it should measure about 1/16 inch inside the tray walls, with an inch paste over tab sticking out the open side of the tray. I like to prepare 2 identical liners measured for the smaller tray and reserve the second liner for the larger tray. The identical liners will line up with each other when the trays are on the open position in the clamshell box. Dry fit the liner in the tray and fold the tab over the open edge of the tray. Crease this fold sharp, then apply glue to the tab only. Open the liner up and apply glue to the underside of the liner. Flip the liner back over and carefully press it down to the tray floor, working from the center out toward the corners of the closed side of the tray. Ensure that there are no bubbles on the tray bottom or along the open edge. Use the inner tray to measure and mark the dimensions of the outer tray. The rule of thumb to follow is that the outer dimensions of the inner tray equal the inner dimensions of the outer tray. The construction of the outer tray is otherwise identical to that of the inner tray. Since the tray liner for the outer tray is the same size as the liner for the inner tray, there will naturally be more marginal space around it. It's time to check the fit of the two trays. They should nest snug together without getting stuck and without wiggling. No part of the inner tray should protrude beyond the outer tray. Use the nesting trays to measure and mark the cover pieces for the box case. Account for proper book square on the head and tail. Cut the length of the boards first. The grain direction of the board should run parallel to the hinge. When measuring the width of the boards, leave a 1/2 inch extra to be trimmed off later. Stack the boards and trays together to measure and mark the width of the spine. The spine can be cut from excess board that measures the same length as the cover pieces. The grain runs parallel to the hinge. Test the spine against the stack of trays and cover boards. Use masking tape to temporarily hinge the covers and spine together. The hinge should be 1 board thickness plus 2 cloth thicknesses. I'm using a jig spacer, a piece of bookboard wrapped in cloth, to create the space. Be sure to flip the cover over before testing the fit. Situate the trays into the cover. Make sure it's a snug fit before gently setting the box down and marking the book square along the foredge of the box, no more than 1/16 inch away from the foredge. Remove the masking tape. Cut the boards down to the proper width along the lines marked earlier. And all edges and faces of the boards and spine. Lay out the boards on the paper side of a piece of book cloth, grain aligned, that measures at least 3 inches larger all around. Apply glue to one of the cover pieces, flip it over, and press it down. It helps to apply pressure from the cloth side. Apply glue to the spine. Align it to a ruler running along the bottom edge of the board and space it using the spacing jig. Continue gluing and pressing in like manner. Trim the edges 1 ruler's width away from the boards. I'm using a homemade jig to trim the corners at a 45-degree angle. This jig spaces the cut 1 board thickness away from the corner of the board, ensuring that the corner will be covered. I'm using another jig to draw a line 4 board thicknesses away from the head and tail at the hinge. This line will determine where to cut excess material away from the hinge when the flaps are pasted in. I call this cut the tuxedo cut. Apply glue first to the foredge flaps and paste them down. Apply glue to the head and tail flaps sequentially and paste them down. I work from the center out. Burnish the book cloth into the hinge. It doesn't hurt to test fit the trays into the cover before proceeding. Using the same book cloth with grain aligned, cut a liner to cover the exposed bookboard on the spine and reinforce the hinge. Apply glue to the paper side of the liner and adhere it, first to the spine, then into the hinge, and finally onto the boards. Make sure that the liner covers the tuxedo cuts. Use a bone folder to form the liner into the hinge. Dry fit the trays into the cover. The trays must be nested with the openings on the same side, facing the spine. Lay the box down and gently open it so that the bottom of the larger tray is exposed. Without moving the trays out of position, apply glue to the entire surface of the tray bottom. Again, without dislodging the trays from the cover, close the cover over the glued surface of the tray bottom and press the bond. Flip the box over and open the cover. Press the bond from the inside. Place a piece of scrap board cut purposefully to fit the inside of the tray. I'm using building blocks to transfer pressure from the press to the tray and cover. Press the bond for at least 10 minutes before removing the partially completed box. Apply glue to the underside of the unnested smaller tray. Carefully nest the smaller tray, glue side up, into the larger tray, ensuring that the tray openings align, and close the cover. Press it down, flip the box over, and open it up. Press from the inside of the tray. Place a protective scrap in the smaller tray, situate the blocks, and press the bond for at least 10 minutes. After the glue has set, the box is finished. Place the content inside and move on to the next project.